Welcome to the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy's Gamecock Pharmacy podcast. I'm your host, Margaret Gregory, and we're pleased to have as our guest today Mollie Patton, who earned a bachelor's degree from USC in exercise science in 2009, her PharmD in 2013, and she also holds a master's in health informatics from the University of Chicago, Illinois. You may also remember that Mollie was a standout soccer player for the Gamecocks, playing from 2006 to 2009. Mollie's soccer career saw her selected as a two-time All-American. She helped lead the South Carolina women's soccer team to its first SEC title, and she still holds the program record for career shutouts in a single season. Mollie was named Team MVP in 2008 and 2009, and earned the prestigious President's Award following her senior year, and she was a three-time SEC All-Academic selection. And now, Mollie has been named to the 2025 Gamecock Athlete Hall of Fame. Mollie, thank you so much for being with us, and congratulations on this wonderful honor.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I can't believe I'm here, so it's great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about how you first became interested in pharmacy as a possible career.
Yeah, I kind of had an unconventional path into pharmacy. I came to USC as an engineering student, shockingly, certain that that's what I wanted to do. But on the first day of orientation, as a teen may do, I told my parents this isn't for me. And I loved solving problems and building things, but realized I wanted to work more directly with people. So I switched to the Arnold School of Public Health and started on my journey in the exercise science program. I just knew I kind of wanted to go in the healthcare in some capacity, but by my third year, I realized, oh no, I'm about done with my degree. And I had 2 years left with my athletic scholarship, and I didn't want to waste that. And around that same time, my grandpa passed away, and one of his friends who I'd never met came up to me randomly and said, I think your grandfather and I both thought you would make a great pharmacist. And I had never even had that on my opportunity or thought that that's what I wanted to do. So I thought it was not just a coincidence. My grandfather held a long career with Eli Lilly. He was not a pharmacist, but he really thought that's what he had never pushed me to do that. So I had also heard about our pharmacy program through a teammate, Mary Alice Foster, who graduated from the pharmacy school. And she connected me with Dr. Bookstaver. So after a great conversation with him, I decided to take the PCAT, and that's how my journey into pharmacy began. And what's in the story?
Yes. So tell us a bit more about your current role and how you got to this point.
I think I'm just unconventional overall. My official title is Senior Product Manager, and I work for Kroger Health. I actually started my career once graduating, and I wanted to help people directly. I love the connection, the impact, but now I'm kind of in a different seat. I lead 5 product teams within Kroger Technology, and we support Kroger Health. And what's a product team? High level, my role is really to translate complex clinical, industry, and business needs into intuitive, engaging experiences for our stores. So for our pharmacists, for our pharmacy technician. So my teams build and enhance real-time integrations across internal and external systems. And then we also support everything from electronic prescribing and adjudication to provider data and product inventories. I started in the stores and met a lot of people and ended up here in this technology world.
Do you still see you using your clinical side and practice of things that you've done in what your role is currently?
Yes, 1,000%. Not in the same way, but I am highly involved with the National Council for Prescription Drug Programs, NCPDP, which I had not been involved with until I took this most recent role. And really, the goal is to collaborate with peers like PBMs and software companies to drive interoperability and create clear standards. And this is standards with DUR and interactions to standards of communicating back and forth to ensure patient safety. I'm one of 4 pharmacists on our product team in the technology department area. So we are kind of like the SMEs of pharmacy. So anything about questions or workflow practices, we really have to ensure we utilize the knowledge of everyday practice to drive our solutions. So not so much drug-drug interactions and knowing the details, but overall knowing what's the most important to provide quality patient care.
I think it's so important that you share that with our listeners because we hear all the time that pharmacy can take you anywhere and to do so many different things, which is obvious from where your career path has taken you.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm in a completely different seat than I thought I was going to be. You know, I thought I was going to wear the white coat, engage day to day with my patients directly. And I had a hard time originally thinking, hold on, I'm not going to be directly working with patients directly. And I had to think, well, my products actually manage supportive care for almost 16 million patients a year. And I help drive interaction with almost 20,000 providers annually. So it's not so much as you have to take a step back and look, how can I impact the patient in a larger way? And never did I know this was a job that a pharmacist could hold. And it was literally just role by role, kind of advancing my career and then going back as I wanted to really get into that health informatics space. I mean, technology, it's the thing that drives everything. So how do we engage and ensure our technology is moving fast enough and not too fast to sacrifice patient care?
Mollie, what are some of your memories from pharmacy school?
My memories are really with the people. So one of the highlights was building relationships with people. I tell this story often. I met my best friend, Heather Patterson was her name. And it's funny, our names are right by each other in the alphabet because that's where we met each other at the white coat ceremony. So she's now and will always be one of my best friends. And I was actually in preseason during the white coat ceremony. I had no idea what a white coat ceremony was. All I knew is that I was required to be there and I had to look like I didn't just walk off 2 practices in a day. And I walked in and Heather's like, "Is your family here?" I was like, "No, I didn't even tell them that they were supposed to be," because I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I was in trouble by my parents also, but it worked out. So I gained that friend there, and throughout my career in the pharmacy school, it was the people. She helped me from that day forward to keep in the loop. I think some of the other memories, compounding, P1 year, everyone loves compounding. They always say that's one of your favorite classes. And it was fun making chapstick, but really I think the people that ran that class, Miss Kathy and Papa John, they were my saving grace so many times. And so I could go on and on the people that had impacted me, but I think those were my favorite memories. And honestly, I remember how supportive Dr. DePiro, who was the dean at my time, and the faculty were when we won our SEC championship. I didn't realize so many people followed our soccer season. I didn't know at all. And they reached out and it was just really felt connected to the school community when I was so disconnected because I wasn't as engaged with all the areas. So that's probably some of my favorite memories.
And you kind of led into my next question. I wanted to talk with you a bit about how playing soccer impacted your pharmacy studies and vice versa.
Oh, well, thankfully, it was only 2 years. So I was in pharmacy school 2 years of when I was playing. So I'm glad I was not in P3 year. But the first 2 years, I would say it was the ultimate balancing act. My life was basically classes, tests, training, weights, and then studying, repeat, rinse and repeat. But I will say without the pharmacy school support to let me take exams before road trips and being so understanding when when I had to miss classes, I think at that point, most people thought of me just as the soccer girl because I was always coming in straight from practice and they were probably judging the clothes I was wearing. I just made sure that I was present as fast as I could be. But I wasn't able to engage a lot outside of lectures as some of my classmates. But looking back, I'm not sure really how I managed both, but those years kind of taught me management and discipline. And I didn't love taking exams early, I will say that, but it did keep me and honestly made me learn time management skills. And on the flip side, pharmacy school gave me a perspective. You know, as a student athlete, soccer was my life, my whole life. And I didn't really know. I wanted to keep playing, but that's not, most college athletes don't go and play professional. So it gave me a perspective and a door that I did have a life after soccer. So it was kind of interesting being in like a doctorate program while I was still playing, because it didn't feel like all my doors were closing at once. So kind of pushed me. And honestly, it was some of the best years of my life, because I had best of both worlds of, working towards my future and loving what I was doing.
What advice do you have for pharmacy students today, or for someone who might be considering pharmacy as a career?
My biggest advice is probably to just be a constant learner. Stay open to like what journey you might go on, because you honestly never know. My own path really has been anything but traditional, and that's fine. I love it. But pharmacy offers so many opportunities beyond what you might picture when you first put on that white coat. You think of a traditional pharmacist and you think about residencies, you think about all the different opportunities. But I would say the most important thing is connections. The connections you make along the way matter just as much as what you learn in the classroom. I mean, don't tell all the professors that, but I would say those connections are huge. Like every mentor, every colleague has shaped where I am today. And in my current role, you have to stay curious. You have to keep learning, and don't be afraid to step outside the box and ask, like, what can I do? Or take on that special assignment at work, because it opens doors. That's exactly how I've gotten to where I am, is to go above and beyond. And honestly, just enjoy what you do. I'm not saying every day of my job is, rainbows and so happy, because we are solving complex problems. But I will say I love what I do, and I do get to continue to learn. So just be a consistent learner, and do not talk to people, I would say. Always make those connections.
What are some of the things that you have taken from your career as a soccer player into your role now as a pharmacist?
I think a pharmacist has to have patience. I think that is one thing that we all have to have. But, soccer shaped a lot of who I am today. It taught me the true power of teamwork. And no matter what role you have in life, in pharmacy career or any career, if you're in a community pharmacy, if you're at a hospital, or if you go, the unconventional route of technology, you have to learn to be on a team. Pharmacy studies, it was like you had to learn on your own. But when you step out those doors, you have to be able to be on a team. And on the field, you quickly learn that success isn't about one person. It takes everyone working towards the same goal. So we can't be rowing different ways. We have to row in the way. And honestly, I wouldn't be inducted into the Hall of Fame without my teammates. And that same mindset has carried into my career, as it's never just me. I may be releasing this specific product, but it's the three engineering teams. It's all the collaboration across the business. It's the pharmacists in the store that provided feedback. So I would say teamwork and then resilience. I've learned a lot. I took a lot of feedback. In soccer, I had a lot of injuries. I had almost a career-ending injury with a horrible concussion. But honestly, that made me, and it kind of still impacts me today, but I wouldn't be where I am if I wouldn't have had that concussion and learned and met so many people through that process. So I think just pushing through challenges taught me determination and leadership. Also, you can't do anything without joy in life. Anyone who works with me, at the end, if you went to school with me, I'm kind of a talker, and I really like to have fun. So you have to be professional, but you can do it in a fun way. And that's the biggest thing I've learned, is you could never play soccer when you were mad. Like, you had to still find joy in it, or you weren't going to be good. And that's where I say everyone on my team now, it's like, we need to find joy in even the littlest things as we go through struggles. So those are some of teamwork, resilience, and then focus probably are the big things I learned from my soccer career that's continued to help me in my career today.
Tell me what your reaction was when you learned that you were to be inducted into the Gamecock Athletic Hall of Fame, and what it means to you.
It was the middle of the day. My coach, who's still there, she called me, and I was like, "Oh, this is really this is so random. Why are you calling in the middle of the workday?" But And I honestly was shocked. But now, like, that I had time to step back, it's gratitude and honor and then overwhelming joy when I think of it. Being a Gamecock student athlete is one of my greatest accomplishments. And to be recognized for my time in Columbia, it just means more than I can even express. It's not just because of the recognition, but because of kind of the journey it represents. My path was not smooth. My severe concussion, it was during my final practice of my freshman year, and it sidelined me for an entire season. And then the wonderful medical staff said I had to wear a helmet to play soccer. And I was a 19-year-old college student. I was not a fan of that helmet. And so I did quit soccer, I think for a total of 12 hours until I accepted it and said it's fine. But it kind of became the symbol of resilience. And that's what this award kind of means to me. It's not just even about my individual achievements. It's kind of about the teammates I came in with. Our program was a growing program, but we all believed, and together we helped kind of shift the trajectory of the program. So South Carolina, honestly, I'm the biggest Gamecock fan out there. I mean, I've had people hanging flags of South Carolina in local places around my community now because they hear about any Gamecock sport ever. So women's and men's programs, I'm the ultimate hype girl. And South Carolina kind of supports me through every step of my life. I love coming back to Columbia. I earned 2 degrees there. And when it came to make the difficult decision to step away from soccer, my college degree and my pharmacy degree helped me in that next step. So I'm just so thankful that Gamecock Athletics, they're inducting someone who didn't go on to play in professional, but they became professional in a career, which is huge.
And what does it mean to you to be a Gamecock pharmacist?
I love it. I mean, I laugh. Most of the people in this area did not go to South Carolina. So I always represent a different school, and I love seeing and staying connected with the community. I go to a lot of organizational meetings. I was at APHA a few years ago, and the Gamecocks were, I think the men's basketball program we were making the run for like the Sweet 16. And I was in a thing, and they're like, oh, you went to South Carolina? So I love representing who we are. And Dr. DePiero was actually there, and I saw him on the street. And he was like, Mollie, are you watching the game? So I think we just have a deep loyalty to being a Gamecock pharmacist. And I just love the education they provided and the support they've provided me even to this day.
Mollie, it has been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights about your pharmacy career, your achievements as a soccer player for the Gamecocks, and congratulations again on being named to the 2025 Gamecock Athletic Hall of Fame.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and forever to thee.
And thank you for tuning in to the USC College of Pharmacy Gamecock Pharmacy podcast. You can stay up to date with the latest in pharmacy education and innovation by following us on iHeartMedia, Spotify, and YouTube, where you can explore our full library of episodes. Until next time, I'm Margaret Gregory, reminding you that the future of pharmacy begins here at USC.